Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you. What if I told you the Bible never promised that weapons wouldn't be formed against you? It promised something better. They won't ultimately defeat you. Isaiah 54:17 says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Notice the wording. The weapon may be formed. The attack may come. The enemy may even make you afraid. But the weapon does not get the final word. Sometimes the weapon is criticism. Sometimes it's betrayal. Sometimes it's temptation, fear, disappointment, sickness, financial trouble, or an attack on your reputation. And sometimes God doesn't immediately remove the battle, but He promises that the battle will not have the final victory. David still faced Goliath. Daniel still entered the lion's den. The 3 Hebrew men still entered the fiery furnace. Paul still faced persecution. Yet God proved Himself faithful. And Isaiah continues, and every tongue which rises against you in judgment you shall condemn. In other words, you don't have to spend your life defending yourself against every accusation. God sees what people cannot see. God knows what people do not know. And God is able to vindicate His servants in His own time. But don't misunderstand this promise. Isaiah 54:17 does not mean Christians will never suffer. Jesus said, in the world you will have tribulation. The promise is not, no weapon will ever touch you. The promise is, no weapon formed against you will ultimately prosper. The enemy can attack your peace, but he cannot take your eternal hope. He can attack your reputation, but he cannot change who God says you are. He can shake your circumstances, but he cannot overthrow the purposes of God. So if you're facing an attack today, don't panic. Pray. Stand. Trust God. You don't have to win every argument. You don't have to answer every accusation. And you don't have to live in fear of every weapon pointed in your direction. Because the God who stood with David, the God who stood in the fire, the God who shut the lions' mouths, is still God today. So remember, Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against you shall prosper. The weapon may be formed, but God gets the final word. If this message encouraged you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video if you're standing on God's promises. Comment no weapon if you're trusting God in the middle of your battle. Subscribe for more Bible lessons that point you back to God's Word. And remember, the weapon may be formed, but it will not have the final word. God does.